Hobson's back. Falcons, Liquid and Spirit are all mid as hell, and China might get grouped at their own TI. TI 2026 starts in about 5 hours as of me recording this, and I think we're going to be in for a crazy one. Today, I'm going to be going over the teams going into the event and just giving some basic predictions for the group stage and what to look for in round one. And I guess before we get into the predictions and team overview, the elephant in the room, Tai Lung, perma banned from PGL events and will not be attending TI. I I don't know. It sucks. It it sucks for him. I know people are justifiably very angry at him for doing it. I'm not defending it at all. Not giving him any excuses, but he was very young, and it's tragic to see somebody that young just have their career ended like this. You gotta feel really bad for his teammates too, because he potentially put them all in a situation where they might not have even attended TI. I think they're probably pretty lucky that they're able to be here. But yeah, it just sucks overall. Don't match fix. I guess we don't technically know what he did yet because I don't think there's anything out officially. Who knows if there will be or not? But yeah, it's unfortunate. With that being said, let's get into the teams, starting with the invites. First team is Aurora, and this team's an interesting one because they are probably one of the highest variance teams at this entire event. Again, we all saw the Rune Eaters game at EWC, but they also have made grand finals and I think won events this year. They, I'm not going to say they could win. I think the problem is just that a team as inconsistent as them is going to have issues going up against the top two teams, but they could go far. They could also get grouped. It's really just going to depend on a lot of what happens and what teams they get drawn against. And if they make playoffs, I think they're look. Obviously every team is looking to win, but I think these players believe they can win. But honestly, if they make playoffs, they'll probably go out in the first round or two of the lower bracket. I don't really see them going much further than that. Next team is Boom Boys or Bet Boom, and this team's another interesting one. I view them as being sort of a gatekeeper to win events. I think if you could beat Bet Boom, you your players are good enough to win an event. Because if you can make it through lane well enough to take advantage of their mid game, I think your players are tournament winning quality. However, there aren't that many teams that can do that. I think this team is actually probably one of the least variant at the entire event. Of the teams that of the teams that will be good, I think this team is not variant at all. I think they will almost 100% either go out 5th, 6th, or 4th place. And the reason for that is I don't. This team is so hard capped by their inability to close out their leads that they generate from lane. They have incredible players. Their mid game is terrible. We saw the EWC final. Paravision just played scaling, and they were like, okay, I dare you to beat us. And they couldn't. And the reason I say guaranteed 4th or 5th and 6th and not 3rd is because I think it's very unlikely that one of Falcons, Liquid, Iron Wings, or Spirit don't get it together. And I think all four of these teams at playing at full potential I think is going to be able to take care of Bet Boom. I think their mid game cap is just too much for them to deal with. And the other thing is too, obviously the result looks good coming into TI second at EWC, but the problem is, I mean, if you look at who they actually played, it's not it's not very impressive. I mean, Vici beat Falcons for them, and all they had to do was beat Enigma, who we'll talk about that later. But uh, Enigma is looking very, very fraudulent. So that run, I mean, it looks good on paper, but when you actually look at how they got to the grand final, it starts to look a lot worse. I mean, I think this team is basically guaranteed to make it out. They're looking to win as well, but I mean, either fifth, sixth, or fourth. And like I said, I don't see there being much variance in there. Iron Wings also a fairly variant team. I don't think they have the same peak as Aurora. I really don't. I don't think they have quite the same player quality. Not to say that their players are bad, but I think that Aurora has the potential to get hotter than Iron Wings or One Win, as you'll also know them can. And I think I don't know. I think they have a slightly higher floor than Aurora, but also a lower ceiling. I think they could get grouped though. I wouldn't pick them to, but I think it's very possible. I mean, if they get unlucky in the Swiss, which I'm not going to go into a huge format thing. I'll talk about it a little bit at the end, but I'm not a huge Swiss guy. But um, I yeah, like I said, I don't see this team getting much higher than fifth, sixth. I just think they can beat Betboom, but again, if any of these other three teams make it out, I or it may end up looking good. I think One Win is the worst of all of them. I think all three of these teams have more potential than One Win here. I cannot type. Bottom out playoffs. Yeah, I mean, I don't see them doing much outside of the groups here. Falcons obviously is the reigning TI champion. They've been pretty mediocre all year, but this team is so scary. I mean, these players have their reputations for a reason. They'll get out guaranteed, and they'll probably look very good in the groups. I would be shocked if they don't. I think they're going to be strong in the group stage. This is Falcons is going to be very play it by ear, kind of see what they look like in groups, because I could see them. I think they could win. They could win. Like I put looking to win for Aurora and Bet Boom because in theory they could do it. I think Falcons it's within the realm of possibility, and I say that I mean I think it's higher than 5%, which is what I would put Aurora and Bet Boom at. I put them around 5% to win. Um, yeah, they can absolutely win. If they do win, it would be Skeeter and Snaking both with the first three-time TI winners. That would be crazy. But the crowd will also probably be against them due to last year's grand final, so that'll be a factor. And I mean, Chinese crowds are infamously a bit a bit cheap sometimes, but yeah, I think they'll be good. They can win. I think out of these three teams, I think even though Liquid beat them at one win essence, I think Falcons is more likely than Liquid to get it together, just because of the just because it's the same exact group of players. Liquid still just seems every once in a while the they look a bit they look a bit out of whack just in terms of the team play, and I don't think Falcons ever looks like that. Even when they've been kind of mid, they've always been on the same page. Again, I mean it's the same five. It's the same five players. Liquid is a very similar story of Falcons. I think with slightly less potential. They won one win. So they looked good. They looked very good at one win. I mean, smashed Falcons in the grand finals. I mean, yeah, it was not close aside from the first game, but I still think they have a lower. I think they have a lower floor than Falcons, but I think they also can win. Now, I don't think Liquid would be at 5% to win, but I'd put them close. I think aside from Falcons and then the two obvious favorites, they're probably the team I would take next. Again, like I said, I just even though I think Bet Boom is a better team than Falcons or Liquid, but I think they just have their weakness is just so strong that I can't see them overcoming it. Their weakness is so strong, it's so obvious. Everybody knows about it. Everybody's going to be looking to exploit it. It's just going to be very difficult for them to get around it. Liquid, I think, has a chance not to make it out of groups, but I think they should be fine, especially with this happening. We'll get to this later, but I think some people have. I think some of you guys are snorting the tops and shit a bit too much. I'm not gonna lie. Yandex, I mean, they're win or bust. Along with Paravision, favorites for the event. Not really much else to say there. They'll guaranteed make it out of groups, and they'll. I mean, I think there's probably a 75% chance that them and Paravision are both in the grand final. I think these two teams are just an entire tier gap above everybody else, in my opinion. I would be, I could see it, I could see it happening, but I would be I would be somewhat surprised if it wasn't Yandex Paravision in the grand finals. And now for Extreme, I was just thinking the other day, like, wow, I haven't watched a lot of Extreme this year. And then I realized, oh, that's because they've been shit and have barely made the playoffs all year of any event. I didn't realize how bad it was until I was looking at, like, when I clicked extended list of results on Liquipedia and scrolled down past the last TI. I was like, oh, wow. Okay. I knew they were bad, but I didn't realize they were this bad. I mean, this team is just, I don't know, man. They just don't look great. I mean, unfortunately, it's them and the next team we're going to talk about here are the two that are really hurting the most. I think Spirit hurts more than Extreme does, but these two teams are really hurting from just a lot of the recent meta shifts that have been happening across the game. Like it's it's not, it's not 2020 2021 anymore. It's you can't just feed Ame and let him 1v9. That doesn't really work in the same way that it used to. To be honest, I don't think this team's going to make it out of groups. I think they can, but I think they need a lucky elimination stage draw. I actually think we'll get to it, but I think there's a different Chinese team that's actually more likely to make it out of groups. If they make playoffs, they'll go out instantly. Now, Team Spirit is the other team that's been hurt by the meta changes. I mean, obviously, Yatoro. It's a very similar story to Ame, and you know can't 1v9 like that anymore. And then also there's just the added factor of like And none of Yatoro's heroes, as far as I can think of, are remotely pickable. Off the top of my head, I don't think any of his heroes are playable aside from some niche situations, bad meta. However, I do think they have a much higher chance of making it out than Extreme. I think I would. I think I actually would still take them to pick it out. Like I think they have more scare factor than Extreme does. Like I think there are some teams that will shit their pants seeing the Team Spirit logo across the stage from them and thus play worse. I think they still have a little bit of that juice. Like, well, the magic's gone, but they still have. There's still some residual aura around Spirit, and I think that will help them out. Also, I mean, just obviously their support duo not so much, but very very experienced set of cores. I think they I don't know they'll probably go out early in playoffs. I could see them getting like fourth, but unlikely. Paravision's also win or bust. Not really much to say there. I mean, they've looked untouchable the last couple months. Not really much else to say there. Enigma, I am not a believer. They looked really, really bad at one win. I think they went 1-7 in their group. I'm pretty sure, and I think the only game they won was one off of OG. I want to say that's what's happened. I'm not gonna go look it up to remember, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened. They just didn't. I don't know, man. They didn't look good. And again, I mean, when you actually go back and look at who was in that group at EWC that they topped, I mean, I know I obviously just went and said Liquid is good, but Liquid was ass at EWC. I don't think this team's making it out, to be honest. I think they would have to get very lucky in the draw, which, I mean, again, is possible. Hooligani is just happy to be here. Uh, I mean, I don't think anybody expected them to make it out of the European qual, which, hey, I mean, cool they did. Cool that you're here. I think they're just going to be looking to look decent. Like, I don't even see a world in which they get to the knockouts, to be honest. By knockouts, I mean the decider games or whatever they're called. I don't think they'll make it to those, but I again, I mean, there's not much pressure on them. I think they're pretty much. I mean, I'm sure the players are competitors enough that they'll be pissed regardless. But you know, in theory, just the fact that they're here is probably enough of a win. Team Resilience, I probably know just about as much about this team as Hooligani. They haven't been to any events all year. At least Hooligani were at EWC. This team wasn't even at EWC, so I mean, I don't think they've been to a single international LAN. I want to say they've only played the Chinese ones, and I didn't watch much of those. And I mean, they have veterans on their team, but they're like, I mean, it's just like kind of journeyman Chinese players who have been mediocre for 5 years. Nothing special with this team. I mean, the fact that I mean, I think they'll be better than the other bottom teams, just because they're getting better practice from being in China. But I don't think they're gonna do much. They won't make it out. Probably won't be bottom three though. I think they're likely to make it to the knockouts. Then from there, anything can happen. Vici, I am a believer in Vici. I think they are. I think this seems legit. think they can make playoffs. They'd need. I mean, they would need. I'll concede that they would probably need a good draw, but I think out of all of the teams that aren't obvious just instant picks to make it out, I think they're the most likely to do it. Like they're way more likely than Enigma. I think they're more likely than Extreme. I think they're more likely than, I mean, obviously Liga and Resilience. I think they're more likely than any of these teams as well. We'll get to that. I know that's it might be a hot take what I'm gonna say with LGD. It's I don't know, bro. You guys are you guys are dick riding Thompson a bit too much. I think. Um, I think they could win a game. I think they could win a series in playoffs. I don't think they'll. I don't think they can win. I don't think they can go far. I mean, but I think they can be an upset team. They can be a decent upset team. Oh, what the hell is going on? Okay. OG is the Southeast Asian team here. I mean they have some legit veterans. I mean these guys. So a lot of these guys have been around for a long time. But I don't know, man. SCA is like I don't know. I feel bad for the SCA fans. I don't think they'll make it out. Might not even make knockouts. I think if they make deciders, I think even with I mean, I don't even know what a lucky draw for them would look like. A lucky draw for them would just be somehow if Vici goes 3-2, or if Nigma goes 3-2 and OG goes 2-3, that would be a quote unquote good draw. But I think they'd still lose to both of those teams. Gamer Legion obviously are winning TI. If you haven't seen my video on that, go check it out. No, but seriously, this team is not good. I don't think they'll make deciders, unfortunately, because I am an NA. I mean, you can tell from the accent. I'm American. I am a Gamer Legion fan. Unfortunately, this is not going to be the year that NA does something at TI. It's not going to be the year. I mean, they've looked pretty bad. EWC was bad. One win. I mean, they like I don't know. They looked whatever. Not as bad as EWC, but it's not like they looked a whole lot better. I don't know. I think this seems pretty butt cheeks. And then L. What are we? Okay. I don't know what's going on with the whiteboard. LGD. This is yeah. I'm not a believer in this team either. I think I don't know, man. I've seen some crazy takes about this. Like I've seen people say, "Oh, this moves them up for me," and it's like, what are you talking about? Genuinely, what are you saying? This team, I don't care how good Thompson is, bro. This team lost their star mid laner like 5 days before the event started. There's no way. I mean, Thompson could play in his prime, and this still wouldn't improve the team. There's just I don't I don't know, man. There's just the synergy's not gonna be there. I get Dota's like a little bit more plug and play compared to some other games, but it's not like I also I I don't know if this team speaks English. I I don't know. I mean, I could see them speaking English. I could see them also speaking Spanish. I have no idea. That I'd have to look that up. But I mean, if this team speaks Spanish, they're fucked. Because I mean, there's no way you know there's no way Thompson's learning enough Spanish to be able to communicate effectively in like 5 days. Um, I don't think they'll make it out. Which I mean, again, it's just it's so unfortunate because I think I think this team was gonna be just on the edge of making it. Like, I mean, I would have had them with Tai Lung. I would have put them where Vici, what with what Vici is now, where like they could be a sneaky upset team and should look good and will make it out. But with Dobson, I don't think so, man. It's just unfortunate. Um, I mean, one thing I'm gonna get into real fast is the format with Swiss. I'm really not a huge Swiss fan. I mean, it's just I mean the problem is there's just so much variance with it. And okay, I will say I said the same thing last year with TI, and I actually was very happy with how it ended up turning out. I do think that Valve has ran Swiss the best way you possibly could to minimize variance, because I think I mean if I mean the way Valakia does it, the way if anybody's a Counter Strike fan, the way they do it at the CS majors and stuff is just so like it's so absurdly RNG based, just luck based. Like one good team gets upset and it nukes the entire bracket. It's literally all it takes. I mean, at the last CS major, I think I think it was Bet Boom or something made it out playing just mid ass teams, and then Navi had to like I think Navi had to play 5 games straight of the other top 5 teams at the major and didn't make it out. And it's so I don't know. I just don't like Swiss because it just again I mean it's artificial variance, but like I said, I mean I do think I think this TI format actually I actually think it mitigates a lot of it very well. So I'm not going to complain that much. I mean the main thing I just miss the 16 team bracket, man. I miss the 16 team bracket. I'm not going to lie. Anyway, that's it though. I will be recording after the group stage in between groups and playoffs because I think there's a 4 day, 3 or 4 day break in between groups and playoffs. So I'll be recording something then, previewing the playoffs, going over the most important games of the groups and what happened. And I guess I'll leave with a match to watch for the first round. Um, if you're a Thompson believer, watch LGD Falcons. If you're not a Thompson believer, I would recommend Nigma versus Iron Wings. I think that game will be. I think that's going to be a very interesting game to set the tone for two teams that'll be on the border of making the playoffs. Anyway, though, that'll be it. If you made it this far, go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know which team you think is going to win TI, or which teams are going to make it out, or if I'm an idiot for not believing in Thompson. And like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.